Jedi Joey. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I will give you my breakdown for the Daredevil Born Again trailer. I just showed you my reaction. Now let's break it down, shot by shot. I'll give details on what I know about the plot and some other things that we know about in the show. Alright, so we kick off the trailer with Daredevil sidekicking Muse. Now a lot of people, when I first watched the trailer, I didn't realize that this was Muse. But when you look at this shot here, you can see Muse. You can see his beanie. You can see everything. So he's the main villain of the show, and they show it from kicking off the trailer. So you get to see him sidekick, and we get a good shot of Daredevil here. Looks really good. It zooms in, and we see Matt Murdock and Kingpin at the diner discussing. And then Matt says, "Thank you for finding the time." And then we get a shot of Kingpin. Looks like someone attacking him with an axe. And Wilson Fisk is kind of dodging, evading, getting out of the way. He picks a guy up and he throws him. Beats the living hell out of him. And then Fisk says, "I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you this time. It's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again," he says. When music plays, we get the Marvel television logo, which is pretty brilliant. And then Fisk says a lot of time has passed. We get a good glimpse at what New York City looks like. Then we get our first shot, our only shot of Foggy, Matt, and Karen. Matt looks so happy in this shot as the taxi passes by. And then you get to see, and then he talks about Matt, Fisk does, and he says, "By the look of everything, you've come up in the world," which I really like this. And Matt replies with, "So have you." And then Matt says, "I can say the same thing about you." Then we see New York City, we see everyone cheering for our new mayor being Fisk. And you see everything. You can see the Rogers musical over here connecting to canon. There's even the drink from the Incredible Hulk. You can see the actual drink being advertised, and then everything is advertising Fisk as mayor. And you can see this is taking place during New Year's Eve because it says Happy New Year above this Fisk sign, which is really cool. And then Fisk says, "A mayor serves his city." And then you see him entering the room as the mayor. And then he says, and then he talks to Matt and he says, "I can see you're not entirely convinced." And then here we get a painting of Kingpin, aka Wilson Fisk, as the mayor. And you can see a crown over his head. So this kind of aligns to potentially being one of Muse's first targets, which I think is going to lead to some pretty big things in the show. And then Matt responds with, "Can you blame me?" After we get another shot of Fisk beating the crap out of someone, we see some trains here in New York. And then we see Matt says, "I can't shake," and he says, "I can't shake the feeling that you're gaming the system." And then Fisk says, "Why did you stop being the vigilante?" Matt says, "A line was crossed." Now we're going to find out exactly what that line is. I have a feeling that Foggy dies in the early couple of episodes, and this sets this show up for deep murder mystery stuff, which gets me really excited. And so then we have the Daredevil mask dropping off the sky after Matt says a line was crossed. So this signifies to me, that Matt Murdock went too far as Daredevil, and after Foggy dies, he feels a line is crossed. And he stops being Daredevil for a little bit. Mask falls, and then you see Fisk. And then you see a shot of, it looks like Matt here is holding someone who's dead. No, it's Muse. Muse here is holding someone that's dead. Alright, then we get a shot here. Here we have a scene in the subway of our White Tiger actor who did pass away, but was able to film all his scenes, is beating up some guys in the subway. And so then he slams this guy into the train, and I believe that this shot confirms that Matt Murdock, confirms that White Tiger, just like the first leak trailer, that he is in prison in this show because he murdered someone. But then later, White Tiger will join Daredevil on his crusade against Muse and all his other enemies. And then you get a scene where Matt's being held up against the wall, taking the power. Fisk says he's getting beat up. He's about to beat him. Matt gets knocked to the ground. You get a splat of blood, proving this is going to be brutal. You're going to get actually some blood here, which is pretty brilliant. Then we can see on March 4th, we get our first shot of Bullseye in prison here. Nice to see Poindexter here. Nice to see Bullseye. Very excited about this. We get, Matt just talked about how crazy the chaos in the city is. We get this shot of all our thugs here. Matt says the city can't go unchecked. In the previous trailer, when we saw this, we see Matt, you see this guy put the shotgun to Matt's head. And then we get the devil's work is never done. And here Matt is walking through the crowd as everyone's cheering for Fisk on New Year's Eve. Really nice cinematography here. And we're never done. Then we see Matt walk into a courtroom here. Someone is walking down the stairs here with an axe. And then you see Fisk says, sometimes peace needs to be broken. We get our first look at Matt and Heather, the new love interest for Matt Murdock from the comics, which I think is pretty cool. Bullseye threatens. Here you see some pretty, the Daredevil show is known for having some pretty graphic scenes. So here you see Matt and Heather in the shower, loving this, excited about all these scenes. Here we get our first shot of Bullseye in costume as he's throwing some flashbangs. Some smoke grenades here. And then when we go back here, we get a good shot of Muse. So I think this is Fisk coming down the stairs with the axe. We talk about Heather, gun goes off. Muse here. And here's Muse. If you guys don't know who Muse is from the comics, they've done a pretty good job adapting his run. He's not the most famous comic book run, but I think he'll be brilliant for the show. And I think they did a great job with the makeup and the costume for the character. I think they really did a brilliant job here. And so then we get to see Fisk and his girlfriend celebrating together. Like this shot. Then we get to see Frank slams Matt up against the wall with a hatchet. Matt says, Frank, would you mind putting the hatchet down? Little comedy here. I think this scene is really interesting because we know we're going to get Punisher in this show. I think something bad happens to Karen in this show, which is why Punisher is so upset and he has kind of the Captain America Infinity War beard and hair going on because he's clearly upset that something happened. But I think that Matt's going to convince Punisher to help him, and I think they're going to go up against all our enemies in this show, which is going to set up for some pretty amazing action set pieces. There's even some early Disney Plus footage that shows Punisher and Daredevil teaming up together. So I'm really liking this. I really think this is cool. And then he kind of slams it. We get some explosions here in New York by the mural. Probably one of the attacks from Muse. And then you get to see all these new lawyers. You're kind of seeing the courtroom process. We get this new guy that's kind of like Fisk's right hand. He'll probably be also working with Fisk's underground operations as a criminal as well. We see some of Muse's victims strung up here. Really interesting stuff here. Daredevil beats up the guy in the yellow mask with his cane. Badass sequence here. We see our first look at the White Tiger suit. This is our first White Tiger actor. This is Hector. Hector looks really cool. I think Hector will eventually team up with Daredevil. So we'll have two vigilantes, maybe in Punisher, all three of them teaming up, which I think will be very cool. Then we get to see some of the task force running into buildings. And here we see Matt here, or this is either Matt or this is one of the thugs throwing the guy's head and breaking the glass. Now, I believe that this is, and we talked about the city, I believe this is Matt jumping into action here and breaks this guy's knee. We see another image of the crown with Fisk, proving that Muse is going after Fisk. I love this. Then behind the bar scene here, appears to be White Tiger in prison before he becomes White Tiger, which I think is pretty interesting. We know from the comics White Tiger's amulet gives him powers, so we're definitely going to see how the show plays with that idea. We get a shot of Matt on the rooftop twirling his baton. Love this shot here. And then you get a shot of Fisk looking up. Love this scene here. Looks really interesting. Loving the view. Is brilliant. Good shot. We get a shot of Muse here. Getting ready. Here's Matt getting ready. This is probably Matt the first time he decides to go be Daredevil again. And he says, my mother taught me to believe in grace, but as I'm older, I believe in retribution. So you have a silver Daredevil suit, the Netflix suit, the yellow suit from She-Hulk, the Shadowland suit, and I believe that this is the new suit. So I love that all these suits. Looks great. I think he'll wear a few of them in this show, but he'll also wear them across his other appearances. We saw the She-Hulk suit. I really hope we get the Shadowland suit at the end of the season. I think that'd be really cool. We know he's going to wear the red in this suit. I don't know when we'll get the silver, but hopefully soon. Very cool to see these suits. A very cool Easter egg in this trailer, nevertheless. He says, I believe in retribution. And here we see Muse and Daredevil fighting. Daredevil's wearing his new costume. He pulls him with the billy clubs. Goes to grab him. Goes to attack with a Superman punch. Then we do amazing editing here, and Matt's beating up some guys here. And you see Daredevil right here. So it goes shot by shot here. To believe in retribution. He brings him in, swings him in, attacks. Then we see the edits between both scenes. Daredevil's fighting him with the billy clubs. Muse and Daredevil are more than a match for each other. You see Matt break this guy's arm, slams him to the ground, and then this scene here is Matt getting angry. So we think Matt gets angry because I think Foggy dies. And now he's getting insane because he's diving into the rage. You get the Daredevil Born Again logo. This looks like an absolutely insane show, guys. It looks absolutely insane. It's peak Marvel. I can't wait for it. Honestly, I'm so excited. You know, we know Punisher's going to be the show. We know White Tiger's going to meet a bad fate at some point. But anyway, let me know, what are you most excited to see in Daredevil Born Again and why? What gets you most excited? What kind of things are you feeling? Did you enjoy my breakdown? I hope you did. I really enjoyed making this for you. We also know that Bullseye is going to be the main villain for the first couple episodes, but then Muse will be entering the story in the end. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe. As always, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Woo!